Do we explain what a chud is?
We're going to.
You're listening to Inside Real Estate, where we go deep into the minds of real estate professionals. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sal.
Hi, Sal.
Hello, Paul.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you? Yeah.
You look good today.
Thanks.
That's good. So today we have a special guest in the studio. We've got Neil Rule. He's let me make sure I get this right. The Director of Broadcasting and Media Relations for Oakland University.
Oh, wow. You did some research.
How about that?
That's impressive.
How about that?
That is impressive.
You like that?
I do.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I try to figure that out every day I walk in the office. No, it means I do all the play-by-play for ESPN and television and everything at Oakland and handle the aspects of broadcasting, contract negotiation, those types of things. So it's not a lot different from your guys' world.
Totally different.
No, it's relatively the same.
Walk me through that. How is it the same?
Well, contract negotiations, those types of things, getting people in a room together, trying to get a group of people to move towards a common finality, to get issues. I don't want to say issues or problems, but just get a common goal, work towards.
A problem solver. I could see that. Okay, that makes
like buying
sense.
a house.
Yeah, it's not that that different,
right.
and that's what I've learned. Like everybody says, you have a great job, which obviously I do, and we get to call games at UCLA and North Carolina and Gonzaga and all these places. But in the end, jobs are jobs, man. You still want to get it done with. You still want to get home. You still want to do some post game activities. It's not that much different, man. It's just not.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So everybody that's listening, please go to like iTunes. Jessica, help me.
SoundCloud, PodcastDetroit, Stitcher, all
that
podcasting places.
Like
wherever you get podcasts.
Yes,
that's where you go to get Inside Real Estate.
Inside Real Estate.
Google
exactly.
Podcast.
Click subscribe, and it'll download right to your phone, and it'll be right there. You don't even have to go look for it anymore.
Can we talk about a little funny story?
Let's do it.
Sal and you actually know each other.
We do.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell the audience how you know each other?
Yeah, sure. As a matter of fact, and that's why it's great for me to be here on Inside Real Estate. Before I started my full-time job at Oakland, I dabbled in the mortgage industry and worked with Sal at Quicken Loans. We worked together. I worked under Tom Lauer, as a matter of fact.
Tom's a good friend of mine. Stood up my wedding.
He is, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
For sure.
Speaking of Oakland University, we have some news with Tom Lauer in the real estate world. But Sal and I worked together at Quicken Loans for a little bit, and even before that, my family owned a pizzeria. And you know how, like, when you work in high school and everything like that, you work at a fast food place or you work at a store or whatever like that. So I was working there with my family as I was trying to get my broadcast business, my broadcasting career going. And in order to stay flexible enough to be able to travel and do games and all that stuff, I still had to pay bills. I still had a wife, still had kids.
You sure didn't pay the bills right off the bat.
No,
right?
no, absolutely
You got to
not.
grind.
No, everyone sees you on TV and think that's the way it is.
It was super easy.
You're an overnight success. It took 12 years, but that's the way it goes. But yeah, Sal was a guy in high school. He was there. And we worked on the front lines on a Friday night rush at a pizza place. I mean, it goes back all the way to. I mean, that's real life. That's real world. That's how you come up.
And it's funny because I always think of growing up, like what was it seems like, we worked at a pizzeria or whatever, but that was like real deal. Like everything was done like to a T perfect always.
Yeah,
right? And it
absolutely.
was
if I know Sal, even in high school, I can't imagine what an asshole Sal was in high school. So, but he must have been the biggest asshole on the planet. But I know Sal has this pride of workmanship that I don't think that like. That's something that's ingrained in him, regardless of what an asshole is.
You can't have a bad pizza,
Sal puts pride into what he does.
No, because let's be honest about it. We talked about this even at the time when we were younger, is if you have a bad pizza, that's a wrap, man. There's plenty of different pizza places to go.
Yeah.
If somebody has a bad experience, they're going to go
somewhere else. So you guys talked about that.
Oh, absolutely.
That's so funny because that has translated in Sal's world, even today in our business today. Sal's really like a driving force in a lot of stuff that we do in the sense of quality. Like he is top-notch quality. And today, like we talk about this all the time, we can't have a bad mortgage.
No.
Because there's a lot of places to go.
There's a lot of places to go get a mortgage, man. You got one shot at it. One shot, one opportunity. So, and I followed his career and his ascension through the mortgage industry and everything that he's been doing. I'm really proud of what Sal's been doing because I figure we have a small part in that because you lay the foundation and then he builds upon it. And I'm really proud of what he's doing what you guys are doing, and it's good to be a part. That's why when you ask, I come running down here to Royal Oak, the epicenter of the mortgage and real estate world.
It doesn't get any crazier.
You can feel the equity in the air here in Royal Oak.
Lots of equity, although we've lost some over the past few months, but it is what it is. There is one commonality between all of us, even though we have different industries, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but to be good at what you do, I mean, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
You had to like really grind and really hone your skills. I mean, you don't just pop up and all of a sudden you're at Oakland University announcing for a pretty national team now, right?
Right. No, it doesn't work like that. There's a lot of high school games that get called and lower level soccer games and all that stuff where there's no information available and you have to find a way to get yourself set up. And it's one of those situations where, again, it's not different. It seems different, it feels different, but it's just not different from everything else that happens, man. In this world, we're all doing the same thing. It's just another form of it. We're all, at the crux of it all, we're all doing the same
essentially,
thing.
every day you have to create opportunities and then you have to execute.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
and you have to do the right thing. You have to go about things the right way. You have to treat people the right way. And you guys have found this in your world is the way you treat people is going to be the biggest indicator of how successful you are going forward. That's the way life is. That's a golden rule of life for a reason.
Right. It's tough. It is in this world, though. To be fair, it's tough to be the good person because sometimes being the good person, like you lose a few, right?
You do
because you value being a good human and doing good work over just like cheating your way to the top.
Absolutely, and that's what's been impressive about the ascension of you and your guys' career is that this can be an industry that sometimes gets a bad rap, and let's be real about it. There are people like that out there, especially in this business. There are,
right.
So it's tough when you come across someone that wants to treat you the right way and wants to do things the right way because they want to be able to put their head on their pillow at night. And really, look, let's be real about it. There are people that are out there doing it, but you are the one that's got to go to bed at night. You're the one that's got to look your wife in the eyes at home, your kids in the eyes at home when you get home, and know that you did the right thing by someone.
I appreciate that. That's nice.
And even if you don't have wife, kids, and you got a couple fish in a tank, you want to make sure that they're being taken care of and fed well for the rest of their life.
Absolutely,
right?
You want to get them the colored fish flakes that are that kind of look like Fruity Pebbles.
Right.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where did we go on that? What happened there?
I don't have kids or a family.
I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
I got no sleep last night. By the way, just so everybody, I've got 4 hours of sleep. My house literally, like, you need a hazmat suit to go into it. There's like probably like everybody had the stomach flu over the weekend.
Oh my!
Like the whole house is probably covered in feces. Like literally, it's
not good stuff.
There's poop everywhere.
assume.
I literally I have a cleaning lady that comes every few weeks, and I literally gave her like an extra $50, and I'm like, you need to like bleach the whole house. I feel bad for her because she's going to end up getting
Not many
something.
of my close friends would like tell me the in and outs of the daily life of being a dad. I'm always like, man,
you get
your
the
kids must
play-by-play.
be like messed up
No.
because they're always sick.
Yeah.
You're always like, man, my kid threw up. I gotta go.
Yeah, dude.
What?
They're like petri
it
dishes,
doesn't make
dude.
sense,
I mean, they eat poop. I guarantee you. They've had poop in their mouth at some point.
Yeah. Well, it's a situation here for the Inside Real Estate Podcast. If any of those restoration companies are listening right now, you want a partnership with my man Paul here, we can make that work.
I need to fumigate my house.
Get at me.
I need to fumigate
We'll
my
negotiate
house.
that. Get at me.
So let's talk about the program, Oakland University. So obviously, like, I'll tell you what I know about them because just being removed, like, not following it as much. There's a few things I do know. I know it's a great program, and I know they've done really well over the years. They've made it to the tournament a few times, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And they seem to compete well every year. They've got a good following. So talk to me. And Oakland University in itself, for those of you that don't know, it's a different type of university. It's not like here locally. A lot of people like go away to like Western and Central, but Oakland University is almost like in a neighborhood, right? It's almost like in a suburban type area where it's a little atypical for a big university to be at. So tell me about your program and how that's going.
As far as the basketball program goes, you're right that we've been to the NCAA tournament 3 times since 2005.
It's just crazy for the size of the school, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, that's the thing too is people don't realize. I mean, we're up over 20,000 students now. I mean, we're up
really?
we're up in the
Wow, I didn't
Central
realize
Western,
that.
Eastern category now.
Whoa, okay.
And the residential side of it is growing. I think there's just under 4,000 students that live on campus now, and that's really an area that Oakland's trying to target and really expand, so you can get that quote unquote true college experience
right.
where you go away and you're on your own. And you're doing all those types of things. But as far as the program goes, yeah, I mean, Coach Campy's done a great job, and we're dollar for dollar. I would say if you look at budgets, and dollar for dollar achievement, I would say that we're the highest achievers in the state. If you break it down, I mean, 3 of the last 12 NCAA tournaments. We took Texas down to the wire in 2011 when they had Tristan Thompson and all those guys. We lost by 4 points right at the end. So, I mean, we're in a place where we've become kind of a national brand. It's unique, and Coach Camp and I have talked about this before. I think we've almost done a better job marketing ourselves nationally than locally because it boils down to all one thing. And I'm not being crazy or speaking roguely when I say this. I've talked about this with Coach Campy. We have to beat Michigan State.
It's a big deal.
In order to really galvanize everything locally, it comes down to we have to beat Michigan State at some point to put us on your radar permanently. The common
in our state,
the common sports fan radar. That's what it's going to take. I mean, we can go to all the NCAA tournaments you want. If you don't make a Sweet 16 run, the 1B of that is you have to beat Michigan State. At some point, we have to do that. Coach Campy knows he wants to. I want us to do it, obviously.
That's a big pro.
We will do it.
By the way, we're talking about behemoth of a program.
Yeah,
right?
multi-million-dollar budgets and all the like, but it doesn't matter because there's 5 guys out there on the court at the same time.
Right.
So, and I'm giving you coach speak and all that kind of stuff. But make no mistake, man, it's on everybody's radar. It's big. It's important, and I believe doing sports talk radio that I do in this town and having a bit of a pulse on the media and a bit of a pulse on the common sports fan, that's what it's going to take, that galvanizing moment where, we could beat Michigan State.
Yeah, and, you make the tournament, it's great, but it's almost like a blip.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Even in our world today, it's like, okay, well, that was cute.
Yeah. You were on your bracket for 4 days or 5 days or whatever, and I remember when we did play Texas, we were some people's kind of sexy, kind of chic upset pick.
Yeah.
And we came close, but we didn't do it, and they don't remember you when you come close.
Right. Well, yeah, but it is memorable, and it is something to speak. I mean, just like for me, it was like, whoa, Oakland's in there. Like they're competing.
Like I said, dollar for dollar, and again, you guys work in a very bottom line industry.
Yeah.
Maximizing what you have, maximizing what you're able to take advantage of. We've done that as good as anybody in the country. I'll put that up against anyone in the country.
So we're kind of like the Oakland University of mortgages.
Yeah.
You know what? There is, and I'm glad that you guys were able to make that connection because we feel that.
Yeah.
We feel that at Oakland that we're up and coming, and our partners feel the same way. And recently, speaking of real estate, we partner with Real Team Real Estate and Tom Lauer.
Yeah.
And we have a sponsorship deal worked out where I think he's going to be able to revolutionize the real estate advertising business in what he does. Nobody's ever done this before, right? We're a real estate company is television-based advertising that's connected with sports, the last bastion of live TV, right?
Yeah.
Because we live in a DVR world now.
Right. YouTube's everything.
Yeah, you skip the commercials. You don't have the commercials.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Well,
sports,
You have to.
I canceled my cable. And
You cut the cord.
I did. Yeah, I went to.
I got to give you my logins, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But and then the other night I was like, oh, nice, Monday Night Football, right? And it's like,
Nope.
shit. Yeah,
Not for you.
I have nothing. Yeah,
Well, you missed nothing,
I have
by
nothing.
the way.
Yeah,
You
I
missed
just ate-
absolutely.
I made food and went to sleep, but I'm just kind of glad I
Sal
did.
Guzmano was the
I'm glad,
winner in
I'm
that
glad you
scenario.
brought that up because I'm just going to say this real quick, and nobody understands this unless you're a Lions fan. This last Monday Night Football game was one of the single most demoralizing losses I think I've ever been a part of. I think, honestly, this last Monday night was worse than going 0-16. I really feel like that. It was horrendous.
I mean, and look, a lot of my friends, and I'll be doing talk radio on Friday on 11:30 a.m. WDFN in town and during the morning here. The talk radio hosts like it, though, because it's plug and play. You just keep pushing the button, caller.
Oh, my God. It blows up. As far as that goes?
Yeah.
Yeah, Valenti's loving it.
Absolutely. It's a one-topic show for 4 hours, and it never gets
Tell
old.
me how bad they are. Tell me how much you're hurt. Yeah, it's like a therapy session for 1,000 people, right?
Right. But
Not
I
1,000,
think, I honestly think it could be, you're never as bad as you look, and you're never as good as you look.
No, they look
We hope.
bad.
And they look bad.
No,
but
dude,
you're never that bad.
Right.
You know what was really bad? And we'll go. We're not.
They are a
sports
professional sports team, right? So
They are.
There is some fabric of talent inside of that team, which may or may not come out in the next few games. May not come.
But it needs to.
Yeah,
bro. When I watched the Jets fans all come down behind the bench and started dancing in our house,
That was grim, wasn't it?
Could you imagine? Like, could you imagine?
That's Grim
Could
Reaper
you imagine
stuff, yeah.
Quicken Loans going into our building and like dancing in our fucking front like room? Like,
Be pretty
jumping up and
tough,
down,
yeah,
like,
that'd be a bad role.
Yeah, we got that deal.
But to kind of go back to that Oakland thing, like our similarity, I would say it's like every time we win a deal over like a Quicken or a Chase or whatever, that's like,
It's a big win.
Yeah. It's like scoring against a big team.
Well,
right?
you take notice, and it means more to you, and it means
Everything
more to your.
means more,
That's
yeah.
why it means more to your clients, because it means more to you, and you have to have these victories. You don't have a choice.
You got to have the heart.
You have to do it, or you go away, and that's what it
Yeah.
is. So I mean, you have to put that little bit of extra into everything you do.
Well, there's a certain level of hunger that you get from being sometimes the underdog.
It drives
that,
you.
that you don't get sometimes being on the top.
And where that banker at Chase or Quicken or whatever, right? It's just like, well, I have 100,000 other shots to do this year, right?
We're going to spend tens of millions of dollars.
But that
on
one
marketing.
win means a lot to us.
No question.
Right? So it is a much different scenario for us in
can't-
our position.
Yeah, you have to win.
Yeah, you do. We have to win. You guys gonna win?
We hope so.
Yeah.
We really hope so. I mean, we don't do this to lose.
By
So-
the way,
No.
by the way, I want everybody to know Neil's a pretty good golf. I mean, he looks like he's ready for golf. It's like 50 degrees outside. He's wearing shorts, but he honestly, you're a great golfer.
Oh, thank you.
You golfed
I
really well.
appreciate that,
You
yeah.
must golf a lot.
Well, when you're a broadcaster, you have some downtime in the summers. I mean, I still do the Detroit City FC games for Fox Sports Detroit.
Do you really?
Yeah. and
Those are fun.
Yeah, recently I signed a deal with ESPN, so I go down to Florida a couple weekends a month and call national USL games for ESPN Plus.
Nice.
So I do that. So that's cutting into my golf time a little bit.
Oh.
I played pretty well that day that you and I played together. But then again, I played well pretty much most of the time.
Oh, there
so.
it is. I've never seen something that Neil is competitive, dude. You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neil's like he's talking shit. He's like it was really.
I
it
think
was
I've golfed 4 times.
ever
in my life.
Yeah, he's not a golfer. I'm a golfer. But no, it was fun to be around. Neil's kind of like the mayor. Like he was walking, shaking hands, and kissing babies, and then hitting stripes down the pipe. It was good, man. It was a good day for us.
No, it was fun being out with you. I hope we do that more, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. And going back, by the way, Tom Lauer, good friend of the show. We know him, the Real Team Real Estate, good friend of the firm. That's gonna be a really good partnership for you guys.
No, it is. I'm excited, and I went. I went and got my real estate license. As a matter of fact, this is an industry that I'm going to dabble in. I mean, sports broadcasting is my main thing, but I like to be educated. I like to know what's going on. I like to be able to help people, especially friends, family, those types of things, and that's why I've always. That's why I've always maintained those relationships with Tom, with Sal, and everybody like that. It's not where we talk every day. Our worlds are a little bit different, but that's why I'm excited about it too. A lot of these people that I deal with that I know, again, you brought it up. You talked about the Quickens and the Chases and things like that, where you're a number on a computer screen. I mean,
Right.
let's be honest about it. That's what you are. I know these people firsthand. I've been to battle with these people before. When I give you a recommendation to deal with someone, it means more because I know them. I know
Right.
their families. I know what they're about.
And you've worked with them.
I've worked with
directly.
them. Not even necessarily, they've shown me what they're all about. Not even necessarily in the mortgage business before when they were laying their foundation to build their careers. I know what these people are about at their core. So when I give a recommendation to somebody who, and let's be honest about it too, if I give a recommendation to someone, it doesn't work out, that hurts me professionally.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Not just in the mortgage industry.
Google does not know Sal Cusimano.
Right.
Google does not know Tom Lauer. I mean, we might show up on there, right, and get a call off of it, which would be great for the client. But, I feel like if you're in the market to buy a house, whether you're in the market to get your air conditioning fixed, things like that, right, you have to probably ask for referrals, a few of them if you want to vet it out. But I feel like I get referred by multiple people for the same client once in a while, and it's like you can't do that by doing wrong by people.
So that
right?
segues really well into my next topic. Is this is good because I wanted to talk about.
I may try this broadcasting
this is
thing,
good.
Paul.
Yeah,
I
you're
may
pretty
give it
good
a
at
go.
this.
Yeah.
So this segue is good. So basically, I wanted to talk about look, we talk about this all the time, but I think this is poignant. Is technology is becoming more and more prevalent in our industry and a lot of different things. And Zillow wants to be the one-stop shop where you do everything on their website. Even Quicken's trying to do it. There's a lot of places trying to remove the human element from the whole transaction of a home purchase. I don't see it going down like that because, dude, it's a pretty big transaction, right? I think technology should be a tool that's used in conjunction with the human element. And so we talk about this. Like, I don't think we can replace, today at least, the ability to have a very highly skilled individual walking you through a pretty complicated transaction.
Yeah. No, I think it's, short of paying your DTE or consumer's energy bill online very easily, right? Like if you're getting a mortgage and you call up, let's say Wells Fargo, right?
Yeah.
And you call up and, hey, what's your social security number? What's your account number? Well, thank you for reaching credit card services. And then you got to hit 0, and then you got to get transferred to the front, as opposed to picking up the phone and texting me or calling me and saying, hey, Sal,
At 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I need to know. Okay, well, let me use the technology I have to see where you're at,
Right.
right? As
Right.
opposed to letting you fumble through that yourself.
Yeah, why don't you fill this out, dude, and talk to me in 3 weeks when you might or might not close.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Right. Well, and my biggest thing with just being a consumer, and that's where I think I bring kind of a unique perspective, is I've been on both sides of the mortgage and been on both sides of the real estate transaction now, is that you don't want to have to deal with someone until you do. And that's
Right.
That's really the biggest
You don't
thing.
need a parachute until you need a parachute.
Until you need a parachute, right? I mean, and that's the way that it's going. The human element's never going to go away, because you're going to have custom questions that you're going to have answered about your specific situation that doesn't pertain to everybody else. Not everybody else is buying the house on Briar Street. You are. So when
Right.
you have questions about what's going on in that neighborhood and things like that, your realtor, your mortgage people, you have to ask those questions specifically. So it's going to be a situation, as you talked about, you're always going to use the technology, and it makes our lives a lot easier because you have information about an entire subdivision, an entire neighborhood, an entire area at your fingertips that you can find like that. With all that being said, when John Q. client has a question about their specific transaction, you have to be available to them, and they're going to expect that. That's never going to go away.
I don't think that's going away, man. And
Never.
Every mortgage, Sal, is different. It's, dude, like every single one. Like,
Well, I think that where things are going is, do you work for or own a mortgage company yourself, or do you work for Zillow, right? And are you that human interaction there as basically a customer service rep for their big technology platform, right?
The
Whether
only
it's
play,
Zillow or
the only play that
Realtor.com
the
or whatever.
Zillow or these big companies are going to have realistically is to cut their margins to a point where it's so cheap that people will gravitate to save money to basically not have, because services, to like a very white glove service type thing is, it costs more to do that, because if you just do things through technology, your margins going to be way lower if you do with 10,000 transactions, right? So there is going to be a population of people that want to skimp out and like save some money and not go through the normal protocol. But I feel like no matter when it's been, or like whenever I've heard of those stories of people doing that, there's always issues, because and they end up calling me and being like, I need your help. Even in like a mortgage transaction, when someone just like lists their house like for sale by owner, like a real estate agent friend always ends up doing that transaction for them.
And it's an interesting time
You know what I
too,
mean?
because
Absolutely.
when me and you were working over down in Detroit, basically rates were coming down, right? So there was a plethora of refis.
It was the floor.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Well,
much
it's
the floor.
refinance time.
So it was tons of refis where,
Right.
and technology where it was in 2010, 11, right? And where it's at in 2018 is way different. So it's an interesting time period, an interesting shift with all of this technology that's progressed from then to now, with rates going up and there being no refis, essentially. I mean, there are.
They've dried up,
but
man.
not a ton, right?
Right.
So now it's this purchase market, and seeing how, companies are doing that technology. And I've seen countless small brokerages charge basically nothing and try to automate the whole process, and they're not in business.
Because their service, the reviews, they don't
And they're
have
not getting the business itself, because as a recommendation that someone gives out, like a real estate agent recommending a loan officer, are they going to, well, hey, use Rocket Mortgage. It's quick and easy, and we can. No, they want to know that if that client is also writing on a house, that they're not wasting their time showing them, or that deal won't blow up halfway through.
Yeah,
right?
is that 1/8% in rate worth potentially not closing or not knowing the process? Or
Right.
It could end up costing you more money if you don't do it correctly.
Right, and that's the biggest thing. I think that consumers really need to educate themselves when you're hitting the real estate market or the mortgage market, and whatever you're looking to do, buy, sell, refi, get a mortgage, consolidate some debt, whatever you're trying to do. I think that's the single biggest thing that a client can do is understand the totality of everything. As you talked about, get educated with what 1/8% means.
Yeah.
Because people, you guys fight. We when I was at Quicken, you'd fight that battle with clients, and you guys, it will always be the nature of this industry. 1/8% in a mortgage, get educated as to what that really costs. Because
Right.
if it's a situation where you're trying to decide where I'm going to go out on my own and do this to save 1/8%, or I can just say, hey, Omega Lending, can you guys handle this for me? I know what I'm going to do,
Right.
because I have children and I want to play golf and
You have
be
a
good
life.
at golf.
You have a career.
I
want to
beat Paul. I want to beat Paul on the golf course. I got to go be in Miami.
problem doing that,
I
man.
got to go be in Miami on Saturday. Like, I don't have time to
No,
mess around with this,
no.
and it's worth 1/8% for me. And is that a quote unquote privileged attitude? I don't know. To me, it's common sense.
Well,
I think.
And above and beyond that, it's not done until it's done. So and so
Absolutely.
says this. I walked into my bank. I've had people go to get their cashier's check, and they walk into Bank of America and they're like, "Dude, look at the rates that they're posting here." I go, "Take a picture of that."
Yeah.
And I'll send
Fine
it back
print.
with the highlight over
3 points.
yeah, 2.5 points due at closing. It's like it unfortunately.
It's the mentality.
And fortunately for the business itself, it's so regulated, right, that it's impossible to be so far off or you'll be out of business.
It won't work.
Right? So it's like if you're getting a mortgage, work with someone who is going to take care of you because the 1/8% here or there, it doesn't really matter. In a matter of 2 days, a day, 24 hours,
They'll
even the
change.
same day,
They'll change.
the rate could go up or down if you don't lock in with that lender. And then now we're crying over spilt milk.
And to be
which is
fair,
stupid.
for a refinance, I kind of get it because what's so funny? What happened?
I don't know.
That was a term Sal used a lot.
Did you say
Spilled-
chud?
Spilled milk.
Oh,
No,
spilled
no,
milk.
no. We would call Sal a chud. back
Chud.
in the
Yeah.
day,
Can we talk
chud.
about what a chud is real quick?
I think it's noteworthy. Yeah, I would say
Go
so.
ahead, Sal. You do it.
Okay.
You do it much
What-
more eloquently than I do.
So,
Definition
at-
of a chud, so everybody understands.
so a chud is a cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller is the official term, but basically everyone could know what a chud is.
It sounds like it.
essentially-
feels-
Basically, here, let's boil it down. If you do something stupid, you're a chud.
Got
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's just another term.
Would that be like? Could you say, "Hey, that was pretty chuddy"?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You do
There's
that?
variations. I mean,
Got
there's
it.
past and present tense of it. You
Yeah.
know. He's that was a very chudded response
like
that
a
you had.
chud thing that would happen at the pizzeria would be the change is let's say $4 back to the person and I give them $14, right?
Yeah.
What a chud!
What a chud. Yeah.
That's great. Thanks for using that in a
Yeah.
sense. Jesus.
There's a real life application.
Yeah,
All right.
Use it.
Next topic. You gotta move on.
it's kind of an inside thing.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well, it's
Paul.
not anymore. Everybody's gonna get it now. Now I feel better that I know what a chud is. I've always wondered. I've been called that many times.
The delivery of it can be so good though.
It's all about the delivery. Because if
Yeah.
you're like, "Hey, chud,"
No, that
no.
doesn't work.
It's like, "What's up, chud?"
Like keep moving, chud,
Ooh.
on the podcast.
All right, so another topic I want to talk about. There's a lot of doom and gloom about everybody talking about the downturn and it's coming, recession, and people keep saying all this bad stuff about the market. Look, I do think that there might be a correction. I think people are just so used to like 2008, what happened then. They're like expecting the worst again. I don't see anything crazy like that. I was very happy to see. Now, obviously, this is probably a little biased, but the CEO for Century 21 thinks that we're actually poised really well in the housing market because he believes in the millennials starting to buy houses again. He believes that they're really poised. They want to become homeowners, and there's a huge population of people that want to buy houses. And Sal, I'm kind of curious in your opinion, and we see this a lot. A lot of clients that we work with are millennials.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is they've got good paying jobs, and because they saw 2008, a lot of them saved their money. Like they were like, "Screw it, I'm saving my money. I don't know what's going to happen."
Yes, some of them. I feel like it's hard to save money now. It's a lot harder to save money now than it was for previous generations. Maybe because they didn't have 1,000 bullshit items to spend their money on.
That's
right?
what
Like
it is, though.
Apple Watches and things like
That's
that.
what it
But
is, though. That's what it really
well,
is.
and I
'Cause
think that the cost of things are much higher as well. I mean, we say this quite a bit. I mean, a car now, if you want to get a decently equipped car, you're spending what, $40,000, right?
And between 30 and 40, no doubt.
you can
and-
get a used car for 10.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
saying.
I'm just going back in time, Paul, to where a car maybe
A
costs
simpler
25,
time. A
yeah,
simpler
much
time.
simpler
Oh,
times.
a
And granted, you made
a
less,
Neon
but
for 13K.
if you
There you
do,
go. You remember those days.
well, let's say you make $80,000 a year, right? And you go and you buy or lease a $40,000 Cadillac, right? which you could easily, if you make $80,000 a year, you could buy a $40,000 car and, afford that monthly payment,
Yeah.
right? But that's half your income. Back in the 70s, you didn't make $5,000 a year, because a car was $2,500. You might have made 15 or whatever,
I get what you're
right?
saying.
But
I get what you're saying.
it's just the scales of.
Well, with all that being said, and I'm very blown.
Granted, cars are much better now.
Yeah, but all that being said, I'm blown away. Sometimes I'll meet someone that makes $45,000 a year, and they've been able to save X amount of dollars. I'm like, man, I don't know how you did it. They're just frugal. Or I believe that we live in a world of gluttony.
They're better educated now too. I mean, it's always a constant evolving thing. Where you made the good point where you talked about they saw what happened in 2008, they saw what happened in 2009, and they also saw what happened in 2003. They've seen both ends of it, and they understand. See what they did this weird thing where they looked at what happened, learned from it, and then applied the knowledge. Like, it's really weird. I know,
It's weird. Yeah.
But as a millennial myself.
Barely.
I feel like a lot of expectations that you would think would happen through normal life based upon the previous generations just didn't happen, right? I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get good grades. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to come out. I'm going to have a badass job crunching spreadsheets for $70K a year. And by the time I'm 30, I'll probably be, making six
I'll have
figures.
a pension.
And hey, maybe that did work out, but a lot of people went to school. They did this. They're making $45,000 a year, and
$60K
they have
in-
$70,000 in
yeah.
student loans.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know necessarily if that's something that you can fault to them or our education system or anything like that. It's more or less probably a shift in the way things are going as far as the world economy goes and technology and that human touch being replaced by technology, right?
But I do think as a society that we have become very gluttonous and spoiled. Like,
there's no $5 cups of coffee.
like my parents.
Every day.
Every day.
That's what I'm saying.
Per day.
You don't need to do that. You can brew a cup for $1, right?
And I love it.
Yeah, we're gluttonous, right? I have a cleaning lady to clean my house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need that. Like, I have Netflix. I don't need that. I've got cable. I don't need that. Like, my parents, when it's cold outside, I put on the heat full blast. When it's hot outside, I put on the air conditioning full. I'm just a spoiled.
But you're an
rotten
absolute
kid.
chud if you don't know what Ozarks is.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like, it's a double-edged.
You don't want to be a
to
chud.
degree,
That's what
but
it is. Right.
Well, the moral of the story, I think, Paul, is that it's not just what you say, and Sal, it's not just what you say. It's a combination of
For sure.
factors, and the real estate market is another thing. We become, and this goes along the lines of what you talked about, Paul. We become such a specialized society, and when I say that, I mean, look, when spring rolls around, that inventory shrinks, and now we're getting into fall. Everybody settles into their routine and everything. The kids go back to school. Now everybody pulls their house off for sale. The inventory rises. There's not as many buyers that are out there in the fall and the winter. It's just not. It's become such a specialized society. We do things when we do things. Look at sporting attendance. Mondays and Tuesdays, you can shoot a cannon in those stadiums. Nobody goes to Dodger games on
Launch
Mondays
cannon.
and Tuesdays.
No.
But Fridays and Saturdays, the fireworks are in there. It becomes an event. They're about it. They'll roll out and they'll be
It's
there
on their terms.
Yeah, it's on exactly.
It's
and
on
that's,
their terms.
And that's, I think we're seeing that spread across the board in everything. As I talked about in real estate, the way we spend our money socially, the way we spend our time socially, we become. With the advent of social media, we become an event society now, where
everything's on
convenient.
demand.
Everything's on demand. And again, just to put it into sporting terms, a Red Wings game on Tuesday night against the Florida Panthers doesn't carry the same weight that the Golden State Warriors on a Friday night playing the Pistons
Why
carries.
not go to B-Dubs, spend $40 on wings, and watch the game?
Why
right?
not do that? No,
Yeah.
but
no, but
it's
that's
just-
what I'm saying.
No
That's
one's
like-
going to go.
That's
on
what
that,
people think, right?
Yeah, on that Tuesday night against the Florida Panthers, what's exciting about that? There's I couldn't even tell you a player on the Florida Panthers.
Yeah,
but
short
Durant and Steph Curry are coming to town. I'm
yeah.
about it. Let's
Oh,
go.
yeah.
We'll hit the brewery. We'll do all that. You know, we're gonna gas it up, man. We're gonna go out there and do it big. But that's the way our society has become, and that permeates into real estate, that permeates into mortgage, that permeates into consumerism, all that stuff.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
like baseball, right? You've got this long season. Back in the day, you'd had people sitting in the stands, had their scorecards out. I mean, there's still people that do it, but just very far in between. Like following a full baseball season from start to finish is pretty tough. There's a lot of games, right?
Oh, I mean, if you're a season ticket holder to a baseball team, God bless you. I mean, I don't understand, especially now. And Paul, you and I are in a similar state right now where you have kids. I mean, the game of baseball, and I've been a baseball. I played Little League growing up, loved baseball, still do watch it, still do enjoy it. But I'll be honest with you, and I've talked about this on talk radio. So let me get this straight. I live in Washington Township, which is, or Royal Oak, or wherever I live, over on the west side, wherever I live. I'm about 45 minutes from the ballpark. So you expect me, realistically, to get my two kids together, my two sons together, get us together. We'll leave at 11 to get down to the park somewhere, get in the stadium about 12:30, grab something to eat, spend 3.5 hours watching the ball game. Then you expect me to get back in the car and go back home. Next thing I know, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock.
And
That's not realistic.
70 times.
Yeah,
Right?
that's not. You can't expect that. That's not realistic for
No.
anyone to do.
No.
And that's again, that's the advent of our society, and it's all event based. Now, if the Dodgers are in town and it's a Friday night, okay, I'll do it once.
Right.
But I mean, just to expect that on a Tuesday night, it's not realistic.
I don't. Nobody has the time for that anymore.
Do you think that they'll, and I know this would be incredibly logistically hard, right? But do you think that the schedules of games will be shifted at some point?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
More towards the weekends, or hey, it might make more sense to open up another stadium or another
I think
arena
baseball's got to cut back
and
the
run it
amount of
all
games.
weekend.
Yeah, well, I mean,
The baseball season's too long. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about necessarily. I just think you need the games to go quicker. And look, let's just
Can't say that. That's blasphemous.
Let's just cut the shit about it. All right. The reason baseball games are so long is because there's 3 minutes of commercials between every inning. That's why.
Yeah.
It's not the pace of play. It's not guys stepping on the batters. People have been doing that since the beginning of time. In the 70s and 80s, there was maybe a minute and a half of commercial time. Now there's 3 minutes.
You gotta pay the coffers.
But yeah, so that's where you need to figure it out. You need this thing to move. If you cut that down, you're saving 30 minutes. If you can get that game under 3 hours, I'm in there. I do games at Jimmy John's Field in Utica.
Yep.
And they have a rule that no inning will start after 2 hours and 45 minutes. They're their own league, the United Shore Professional Baseball.
Should call
League.
it rules rule.
Yeah, well, they can make their own rules, and it's been interesting to see. Once they implemented that, their attendance has stayed strong. Everything's been going well.
It's actually doing really well. I was
Yeah.
surprised. I'm very surprised by that. by the way.
It's doing well. It's a concept that they're looking to replicate in different places, and that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard to figure out. It's hard to do, but it's not hard to figure out.
Neil, do you want to give out your information? If anybody, do you have your real estate license?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, give
went
out
in
your
there
info.
this summer, got it. Actually, you can follow me on social media. I'm getting ready to put out. This is actually breaking news here because I've actually inked a deal to become the official spokesman for Real Team Real Estate. I haven't made that public until right
Nice.
here on the Inside Real Estate podcast. I'm the official spokesman for Real Team Real Estate. We've reached a deal on that. I'm going to be putting some stuff out on social media in the very near future. So follow me on Twitter at Neil Ruhl, at NEALRUHL. Facebook as well.
Very
on
funny
the
guy
gram.
on there, by the way.
Yeah,
you do some good stuff.
I don't take this stuff too serious, man.
Yeah,
Like it is what it is. On the gram as well, Neil_Rules. So, yeah, give me a follow on social media, and I'll be putting some information out there. And again, it's different for me with Real Team because I've worked with Tom Lauer in the past and everything that they do. That man, indirectly kind of helped save my broadcasting career.
Yeah, I remember he told me about you a
yeah.
long time ago.
So I mean, I'll trust that man till the end of the earth with anything.
I love Tom. He stood at my wedding. We've been good partners.
Yeah.
He's an asshole.
Oh well, no.
No,
Depends on the setting.
So we were working together. I have a mortgage company. He opened a mortgage company. I'm like, dude, really? He's like, I had to do it, bro. I love him though. That's it doesn't matter. But if you're listening, Tom,
Man, jabs in the dark.
Well, but this
you're a
goes
dick.
back to it too. Like with you guys in Omega Lending, Sal, I know Sal from when he was a kid.
Way back. Yeah. It's like,
from when he was
I was
a
a little
kid.
chud.
Yeah, he was a little chud. Now he's a big chud. But not when it comes to the lending game, though.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that he is good at.
He is not
He's-
chuddy on the lending.
Yeah, he's
There's no-
seasoned.
yeah.
He's seasoned. He's like a deposit, a mortgage deposit. He's seasoned. He's
Yeah.
been sitting
All
around
right.
for a while.
we used to just launch the can.
Okay, nobody cares. Okay, we gotta go. So, a few more things before, like two things I want to wrap up with. Sal, give me a wrist check real quick.
No.
Come on,
Come on. Let's keep it moving, Paul.
Yeah, come on, give me a wrist check.
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, well, that goes that bit.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you weren't into that.
Yeah.
Another thing I just really wanted to touch on. Jesus Christ. So, can I ask you guys, like, did you guys see Elon Musk smoking the pot on the Joe
Yeah.
Rogan show?
I did. I heard that the Air Force is looking into that now because he has clearance.
Oh, no.
Yes.
He has clearance. So
Yes.
now that may be an issue because he's a quote unquote drug user now. That may put his security clearance at risk.
Wouldn't you?
What
I
a
mean,
chud.
He
I
gives
mean,
zero
listen, you're
fucks. Like,
well, no, but let's break this down, right? You are one of the biggest figures in public society right now for what you're doing, trying to advance. And mind you, whether it's right or wrong, how dumb. You're in a podcast, Joe Rogan's podcast, too, one of the
It's the
biggest
biggest
ones.
show-
There's other people in
I
the
think
room and cameras.
I think it's second to Inside Real Estate.
Number
in
two.
of
Right
subscribers.
behind us.
Yeah.
Right behind
us.
I think they slide in right behind us.
behind
yeah.
But
But I mean, why would you do that?
I don't know, man.
Because he's a chud.
Yeah.
he dude.
Why don't you do that in the car on the way there?
He's a fucking genius.
The car drives itself. What the?
You chud.
So just I mean,
Huge.
it doesn't matter what you do or who. I mean, when you're the fucking CEO of like the largest like this. He's like sending people to the moon.
And
stuff.
ultimately, right, to personally, right, I mean, if he's being selfish, he'd be
I
like,
think he's losing
whatever, I'll get back in my self-driving Tesla and smoke another one and go home, right?
Yeah,
but he has millions of people and
he's
that
losing it, man.
an ideal, I mean, yeah, whatever.
He's losing it.
No,
So-
I mean, hey, whatever.
I just thought it was interesting. I want to touch on it. So that's it. That's our show, man.
It
How did
was
it
awesome.
feel?
No, it was great being here.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
It wasn't chuddy?
no, other than Sal's, moments
Yeah.
of chudness.
Yeah.
but,
Right,
They're
they
few
happen.
and far between. No, but no, it was great. And as a guy that does this for a living, it's nice to sit in this chair and have you steer the ship for a change.
There
I
you
like
go.
that.
I like that. Thank you for listening, everybody. Obviously, subscribe. Jessica, can you tell everybody how to do it again? Get back on there.
Yeah, go to podcastdetroit.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere you find your podcasts.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. iTunes, Inside Real Estate. Click subscribe. You're in there. You never have to worry about it again.
Ever.
I love that. I'm going to have you on every show. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week.
Well, see you later.
That was it. What if Jessica was like, "Oh no, I forgot the broadcast."